Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebralites. It's me, the Cerebral Diva. Um, and I'm back to talk to you guys about a very contentious topic and something that is, I don't know. It's one of those things that's really hard to talk about, but it's also one of those things that I'm very passionate about. So I always feel compelled to sort of speak up and state my position, even though I know that my position isn't necessarily the most popular. And that particular topic is religion. And what brought about this video was that last night I got an invite to a concert. A friend of mine was performing. They asked me to come out and support, and hey, I mean that's what friends do. So I decided to go out and support. But I mean, and one of the things I love is that my support to go support was free. It didn't cost a thing. The concert was a free concert. Great. So I'm there. We had to donate. What was it? Just sort of products to women and children. So I'm okay with that. So we bought a couple of things, headed over to the concert, and unbeknownst to me, the concert was being held at a church. Now, if you're new to my channel, you probably don't know that I am not a religious person. I am actually agnostic. And for those of you who are not familiar with what agnostic means, agnostic simply means that I don't know. I don't know if there's a God. I don't necessarily believe in the Bible. I more so believe in good and evil versus the teachings of the Bible. I tell people very often, being a good person is really innate to me. Being a kind person is innate. I don't necessarily need an instruction manual, i.e., the Bible, to teach me how to be a good person. My goodness is guided by my conscience and in the way that I treat people and the way that I interact with people. So I never really saw a place for religion in my life. Now, I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. My family is from Mississippi, the descendants of slaves, obviously, and they were deeply religious people. And I was indoctrinated to that at a very early age. I'm talking Easter speeches, I'm talking Sunday school, Sunday programs. I mean, there were days where we were in church from probably 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we're talking like full days of church, Bible study, choir rehearsal, you name it. It was church, 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 church. So that was drilled into my head at a very early age. And as I grew up and began to live life and really begin to see how religion is used in our culture, it really dissuaded me from wanting to be a part of the church in particular. Now, I believe a relationship with God does not necessarily have to be connected to the church. Some people believe you have to worship in masses, and if that's what you believe, then great. But for me, I think that everyone's relationship with a God, a higher power, should be between that person and God. Now, if you feel inclined to go worship on Sunday with the masses, that's fine too. But and I know people will probably get upset with me for what I'm about to say, but you know, to to a large degree, I believe that I am God because God lives with. If you believe in God, if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in a deity of any sort, that energy, that goodness, it emanates from the inside out and not necessarily the outside in. So I don't need a bunch of other human beings who are just as fallible as me telling me how to be a better person. That just simply does not work for me. Now, if that works for other people, then great. Now, one of the main issues that I take with the religion is the fact that as slaves, Christianity was forced upon us for the most part. And so, just based on that alone, I'm resistant to it. Um, Based on the fact that a lot of the things in the Bible that I'm told to not question don't make any sense to me. I'm averse to you know, those are some of the things that I really have a problem with when it comes to religion. Anytime I'm told to believe something and not ask questions, chances are I'm either not going to believe it, not subscribe to it, or discount it completely. And when it comes to religion, while I don't discount it completely, there are a lot of things, a lot of teachings in the Bible, because people are selective about what they follow in the Bible, what they believe. Um, if something negative in the Bible applies to someone outside of themselves, then they find it very easy to judge others based on that. Case in point, the LGBT community. So many people who are Bible thumpers, religious zealots, very often point to the LGBT community as evil, as demonic, and I have a problem with that because my mind, my experience, my discernment tells me that good people are good people. Who you sleep with does not have any bearing on you being a quality person. I can't tell you the number of women and men that I've encountered that have been molested by, people who were of the church, of the cloth, using that as a guise for pedophilia, for sexual molestation, for abuse in all sorts of capacities. But because they're extolling the virtues of religion and God, people turn a blind eye to it and say, that's okay. But when they see someone who's openly gay, openly lesbian, openly trans, whatever the case may be, people immediately take issue with that and vilify people without even having the opportunity to get to know whether or not this is actually a good person. And so if that's the religion that you want me to subscribe to, I cannot sign up for that. I will not sign up for that because I'm going to always, and what I always find interesting is when I encounter people of the LGBT community who are really deeply religious, because to me, that seems paradoxical. It seems self-loathing to a degree to want to be a part of a religion that is essentially telling you that your existence here on this earth is an aberration and that you don't have a right basically to live a happy life. But you find some people who are of the LGBT community who are very committed to that. And I mean, hats off to those people because there's no possible way, no one could ever tell me as a black woman to um, go hear the teachings of the KKK. There's some great stuff going on there. They're talking about some really powerful stuff over there at the KKK rally. I mean, you really have to sift through all the muck and mire, all the hate and bigotry. But once you get through that part of it, some great stuff that you need to hear. I don't. If you're speaking hate speech, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Everything that you have to say is of no value to me. I don't see any redeeming qualities in hate speech whatsoever. So you're not going to get me to go to listen to David Duke speak and try to sit there and sift through all of that hate to get to something good because everything that he says is tainted by the hate that he espouses. And it's the same thing for me when I see LGBT people who are really deeply religious people because a lot of people in the church, and not all people in the church, I really try to be conscientious of painting with a broad brush because there are really some good people in the church who don't do these things. But for the most part, I believe a lot of the things that are wrong in our society stem from religion. It stems from people using religion as a tool for hate, as a tool for control. And me being a free and independent thinker, it makes me sort of it makes me averse to religion because if I can't think for myself, if I can't ask questions, if I can't believe, that a man is capable of putting two of each animal on an ark and want to ask questions about how that was performed, somehow that makes me evil for asking questions because I'm supposed to have blind faith. I'm sorry, that's just not something that is that's not something that I'm capable of. I have to ask questions. I have to know. Things have to make sense to me. I think in a linear fashion. So it's a difficult thing for me to just sort of acquiesce and say, all right, well, even though it doesn't make sense, okay, that's fine. The power of God, is all I need to believe whatever people tell me. No, that's how people wind up in cults. You know what I mean? That's how people wind up in abusive relationships. Whenever you stop thinking for yourself, whenever you stop asking questions, usually bad things happen. So for me, I could never see myself being a person who didn't think for myself and didn't ask questions. But now, having said all of that, let me get back to my original point. So I got invited to this concert last night. I know I just went all over the place, right? Right after I said that, I think in a linear fashion, I just went off on a completely different tangent. So I got invited to this concert last night. The concert was held at a church. This was my first time in a church in probably 10 years. The last time I'd been to a church was actually for a funeral. So I went there last night. I'm sitting in the audience. The choir is on stage singing. They sounded amazing, by the way. And I'm watching people sort of flail their arms about in the air and stand up and applaud and raise their hands to the heaven and just really sort of connect spiritually. And even though I'm agnostic and I don't necessarily subscribe to what they believe in that moment, it was a very powerful thing just seeing the level of sort of just to be spiritually that open, to feel that connected to whatever it was that they were feeling. Um, so it's like, having not been in church, sometimes I see that I'm very cynical towards religion, but having gone to church that last night, while it did not change my beliefs in terms of the Bible and in terms of religion, it did give me sort of a greater understanding or greater empathy and appreciation for those people who do feel connected to religion, and to not be so quick to sort of discount it as, sort of, just not nonsensical religious babble. That even though that's not my personal experience, these people feel connected to that, and it's a real experience for them. So moving forward in my agnosticism, I do think that having gone to church last night was something that really gave me a greater appreciation, a greater affinity for those who do believe in the Bible and those who do believe in its teachings and its tenets. And I really wish that as human beings, we all learn to be a little bit more understanding, a little bit more empathetic to all the things that are outside of our norm. So, yeah, I'm agnostic and I went to church for the first time in 10 years last night, and the church did not burn down. Thank you very much. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that experience with you. I'm really curious to see what you have to say. I would love to hear some of your experiences. Um, as always, in closing, you guys, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, signing out, and I will talk to you guys again soon.